Okay, so you saw the title of this video and you either agree with me or you disagree with me and think that I'm brain dead. Because One Piece community is totally polarized right now. Some people love the live action and some people hate it and think that it's cringe. But the truth is, it's peak, and I don't know what haters are thinking. And I made this video to defend the live action, and I'm gonna break down all the reasons why it's actually great, one by one. Let's go. So, some people trash the live action because it's too realistic and by default it can't embody the mood of the original series, and some think that it's too goofy and the craziness needs to be turned down. Basically, people use every reason to hate on it. But the truth is, I can take any aspect of the show that immerses you into the world, and for me, pretty much all of it is done great. Also, one more note before I start. I'll be mostly talking about One Piece Season 2, since it just came out, but most of the stuff will also apply to Season 1 and the series in general. Yeah. So the first thing is devil fruits. They were implemented with style, and honestly it reveals another side to them. You can see how terrifying they can be. I mean, in anime and manga, Robin's fruit, for example, looks kinda interesting and cool, but in the show it looks creepy as hell. Like, look at this. This stuff is like straight up horror material. Even if we were talking about Miss Valentine and her Kilo fruit, seeing her make the actual ground crack underneath her in live action made it look so much more dangerous. And if we're talking about scale, I've seen a lot of people claiming that live action fails to represent the scale in One Piece. But in my opinion, it even outperforms the original series in some aspects. I feel like the early One Piece isn't the best in showing off the locations, and the locations themselves in the first arcs of the series aren't that impressive. But live action, on the other hand, delivers more than enough when it comes to great locations, and you can feel the scale too. You see all those wide shots. And I heard people claiming that there aren't too many extras in the scenes. But the thing is, I don't remember there being many extras in the anime as well. Those aren't huge cities we're talking about. Whiskey Peak, Drum Island, those two aren't that big. They don't have that many people in them in general, and Little Garden is basically uninhabited. And the way these locations are shown is a great lead to my next point, by the way, which is all of the props and all of the built-out sets are done great, and me as a Nolan fan, I really appreciate more real elements and less CGI. All of the costumes, everything was done by hand and, dare I say, with love. Even things like Wapple's mouth are actually real, if I'm not mistaken. Smoker's bike was also real and it looked epic as hell, and you yourself know that there are many more examples of this. And if we're talking about CGI, the best thing is that when we have it, it always looks great. We don't have a CW Flash situations on our hands. Laboon, the giants, the dinosaurs, all the CGI characters look great, and in addition, all the wide shots we have that we talked about before that represent the locations. From the CGI perspective, they all look fantastic as well. But with all the CGI done great, there was still one character that I was most worried about in Season 2. And as you might have guessed, yes, it's many fans were afraid that Chopper might look a bit chopped, because it is one thing to do a good CGI of one character that appears here and there, or a CGI of a location that appears just several times, but for a show to make a good CGI of a character that is a part of the main crew, that would take a lot of time and money. When I saw how Chopper looks in the trailer, I loved it, but I wasn't sure if they would be able to keep the same quality throughout the entirety of the couple episodes that Chopper is in. But luckily, I was totally wrong. Chopper looks amazing, CGI is beautifully done, and I really couldn't ask for more. But there is a heavy point Chopper situation. And maybe some people do like him, but I won't lie, this one does look a bit chopped. I guess I'm not like super mad at it, since it kinda does look more like a monster in a way, and that is exactly why people of the drum feared him. While in the anime he looks more like a big fluffy Chopper we all know, this one, not really. I saw one comment calling him Abraham Lincoln, and it is sad, but it is kinda true. I mean, at least the teeth could have been left out of this. Clean teeth wouldn't hurt the overall image. Maybe they will change it next season, we'll see, but honestly, with how great Chopper looks in this normal form, I can forgive even the teeth. Now, this one caused a whole lot of confusion, and I too was confused because I didn't see the series the day it came out, and I didn't even watch the trailers. And when I heard that Brooke and Barto appeared this season, I was confused. I was afraid that they would mess up the storyline completely and just do their own thing, which I'm not a huge fan of, even though I do like the changes that they made in general, at least most of them. But to my surprise, they actually made it better. Introducing all these characters beforehand is absolutely magical, and I feel like Oda might have done the same thing if he could know everything that he's gonna write in the future. But no matter how much of a genius he is, even he wouldn't be able to pull this off. They introduced the characters that would canonically appear there, we just didn't know at the time, because later in Dressrosa we saw that Barto was in Logtown at Luffy's failed execution, and we knew that Laboon was left behind by the pirate crew, we just never knew them in detail. But the live action added that it was indeed Rumbar pirates that left him with Crocus, and we saw Brooke, even though he was never properly introduced to us. I also really appreciated all the subtle hints that they did, like the giants talking about Sun God Nika, which would make a lot of sense to hear about the existence of Nika from them first, considering that it is a big part of their culture. Also Sanji talking about his mom being sick, hinting on his full backstory, and also telling that his mom called him my little prince, which is obviously a hint about his royal lineage. And I'm not sure why would you hate on these details. They don't tell you anything specific and they only make the story better. And the most important of all, knowing Oda and how he loves Easter eggs, I'm 100% sure that he would do similar things if he knew more of the story in advance. The Easter eggs and little details are one of the strongest aspects of One Piece anime and manga, and live action only enhances that quality even more. Honestly, I don't see any reason to complain here. Now, this one, some of it I agree with, and some of it I disagree with completely. People like to trash the series for being too serious or being too goofy, like I said in the beginning, but I feel like it balances in between both pretty good. And yes, for me some scenes do look a bit too goofy, like this car that Luffy was trying to stop but couldn't, even though you could clearly see that was moving at like 8 miles per hour. You can easily outrun that thing. And it was tiny, and Luffy, the one that was strong enough to bring down the entire building of Arlong Park not so long ago, he should be able to stop it easily. And when he finally did, Vivi and Egaram flew out through the front, even though that silly car wasn't moving nearly as fast for them to do that. Like, the physics in general is really messed up in this scene, I'm not gonna lie. Or the One Piece world just has different laws of physics, which I didn't see any indication of, so yeah, it was just dumb. But even though I kinda disagree with this scene in particular, there is another side to all of this. This show's entire point is being goofy. It is a comedy too, you shouldn't try to look at it differently. It doesn't make sense. But some people might say that, but that only means that they shouldn't have made this series in general. Anime live actions are always trash and there are no exceptions. They just knowingly destroyed the show. And to those people I have a very specific response. That is my next and final point for the defense of the series. And also one of the main reasons I made this entire video. Now, excuse me, but with this one, I want to go a bit deeper. So, I have a strong belief that if any piece of media is recognized as at least good by the public, and you think that it's complete trash and 0 out of 10, you're just hating for the fun of it. And I have several points to prove this. First thing is, I believe that opinion of the masses matters a lot. And you might think that I'm an idiot and I don't have my own opinion and I just go with the flow. So let me debunk this real quick first. I want to start with a really clear example that shows what I mean. Now, I don't like everything that people like, and I do have my own opinion. And the best example to show it would be the anime that is very renowned and loved by many. The one called Bleach. Now, I watched all of Bleach after I watched One Piece and Naruto, and since both of those are in my top 3, I had big hopes for Bleach. but it just never clicked for me. It wasn't trash or anything, and I wasn't forcing myself through it just to prove a point, but I was watching it mostly in hopes that it will get better eventually, but it just never did. And it definitely had its moments, but in general, I thought that was just okay or good max. And for me, I feel like this is how it's supposed to be when you don't just blindly hate things. You admit the importance and the greatness and the work that was put into this. But at the same time, you understand that it's not for you. Honestly, I might even do a video one day about why I don't understand Bleach, but I'm not really sure. Another example that is quite similar to this is from my own life, and I feel like this one needs a bit of context. So I guess you could say that I was a dancer for a little while, and I'm still a part of the dance community as a dance videographer. I've been doing it for more than 6 years, and I know this culture pretty well. And in it, I pretty often notice the same thing. There would be dancers that are very renowned and perceived as some of the best, but when I look at them, I see the technique and I see the talent, but I still don't really like the way they dance. I just don't feel it, I don't feel it at all. Now, does it make them bad dancers? Not really. It's just they don't spark any emotion inside me specifically. With all this, I just want to say that there is no right or wrong opinion, and usually when public recognizes something as great, even if you don't like it, you can at least try and see that it is at least decent, but it just doesn't vibe with you. And now getting to my point of opinion of the masses matters. You might think that this is all good and well, but I just don't see anything good about One Piece live action in general. It's just objectively bad. First, as I said, your opinion isn't law and there is no objective opinion. Everyone's opinion is subjective. Second, when I say people's opinions and ratings matter, I mean it. And it's not just dumb masses that don't understand a thing, because all the stories in general are made to amaze and entertain people. And story can be only considered good when it actually does what it's supposed to do. So a good rating really does translate to a good story for the most part. And all the norms of storytelling that you might throw at me, saying that you have to implement these to make your story good, just remember that those norms aren't universal and they are too made up by people. All these norms that are made up, and the story is only as good as people think it is. Anything is only as good or bad as people believe it to be. And if you don't like it, just remember, it's just you, because everyone's criteria is different. So I went above and beyond trying to defend this show, but the truth is, it's all up to you. This show is not perfect, but it was made with love and there was a ton of time and effort put into it. And if you watch it, you have a choice. You can either like it for what it is and make your life a little better, or you can hate it and make your life a little worse. The choice is yours. Subscribe for more anime content and see ya.